Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Melissa, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a order that I placed with ColourPop Cosmetics. So I've been hearing so much about this brand and have been very interested in trying it out. I've been on their website a couple times. It was a little overwhelming the first couple times I went on there, but I actually dived right in and ordered a bunch of things. So I wanted to share those with you today, and a whole slew of lipsticks that I ordered, and give you my impressions on this line. So I wanted to start out by saying this is a really reasonably priced line of cosmetics. Most of the eyeshadows and the cheek colors and the lipsticks, they run about $5 or $6 each, so they're very affordable. However, the downside for me is not being able to see them in person. I really have a hard time with that, and I really prefer to buy my cosmetics when I can touch and feel it and look at it in person. So I'm going to start off with a kit that I picked up. So I think that's a really great place to start because it actually gives you a nice assortment of colors to work with and a really good jumping off point, especially if you're new to a brand. And so I picked up, this is the Forever Freshman kit, and it comes with 6 eyeshadows, and this kit ran about $30. So in addition to that, I also picked up 2 individual colors. They are Central Perk and Supermodel. And you all know I'm a huge lipstick gal, so I have been really intrigued by the Lippie sticks. So I picked up a whole bunch of those in a bunch of different colors, and 2 of their ultra matte lip cream colors, which, yeah, I'll talk about these later. So I thought I would start off by just talking about the eyeshadows a little bit and talking about the formula. So one of the things this brand does, I think, really well is they included a whole bunch of product cards in with my order so I could read tips and tricks on how to use and apply these and get to know the products a little bit better. However, I did not read them before I started using these. Typical. So let me just give you a quick overview of the eyeshadow formula. It feels like a little bit of a cream gel to powder formula and really has almost a cool feel to it when you touch it. And it applies like, if on the eye, it feels like a regular shadow, but it feels, when you touch it with your finger, it feels different from a regular shadow. One of the things I think is such a plus about these is because they're kind of gel-like, there's little or no fallout from these at all. Even some of the more sparkly shades, which I think is huge, just huge. The potential downside to that is they could really dry out if you don't close them up properly, and they do caution you about that when you buy them, and on this card it says, when finished, close that sucker up tight. Don't leave the jar open for long periods of time. You may lose some of the magic that makes the Super Shock shadow so amazing. So be warned. Keep them closed tight. So here are the shades from the Forever Freshman kit. I think they offer a really nice assortment of lights to darks with a couple of pops of color if you're interested in using those. The first color is called Crimper, and that's this top one. And it's a very beigey nude color. Has a lot of sparkle in it, and I applied that like in the center of my lid after I was all done as kind of a accent color at the end, or like a pop color at the end. The next color is called Koosh, and that's this second one. And I would say this is a very pale taupe color. It's very shiny, really, it's really beautiful, just really beautiful. And I wore this, I started with this all over my lid. Now they do recommend that you use your fingers to apply, and I did a combination. Some fingers, some brushes. I really wanted to see how they worked. I think you get more intense color when you use your fingers, and a less intense color when you use your brush. And they do blend beautifully, so you can start off by patting it on with your fingers and then blend it out with your brush, or a combination thereof. If you decide to pick these up, I think it's something you're going to have to experiment and see which way you like to apply them better. Okay, let's keep moving here. The next color is As If, and that's this medium tone brown color. It's very much a matte. It is great in the crease to lay down first and then build up darker colors on top of it. It really makes a great base for that. I think it would be a great shade all over the eye. Just kind of a one and done for a very soft neutral look. Yeah, I'm excited to play with that quite a bit. Next up is 90210, and it is a darker brown, and this one definitely has some shimmer and sparkles in there. It's really almost a grayed down brown. Really pretty. I used this to deepen my crease today. Next up is Melrose, and it's this kind of pumpkin orangey color. Really pretty. I think if you have blue eyes or green eyes, I think this would really make your eyes pop quite a bit. I did not use that color today, however. And then the last color in this kit is called Baby Tea, and it's this dark navy color at the bottom. And I did use this on the outer corner of my eyes and kind of blended it up a little bit into the crease. I used it under my eyes. Yeah, really a beautiful color. So the two extra colors I bought were SuperModel, and it's probably not going to show up too much. You might see it shining up top here. Just a really good brow bone shade. And then I picked up Central Perk, which is a really deep, rich brown. It almost has a little bit of a red undertone to it. Super, super gorgeous. Super gorgeous. Just making sure they're all closed tight. So I also wanted to pick up a cheek color because I really wanted to try an assortment of items from this brand. And I picked up the shade Never Been Kissed, which is like a peachy, pinky color. So when I read the product postcard on this, one of the things they recommended is that you apply it with a dual fiber brush, and I totally agree with. The first day I used it, I used just a regular traditional blush brush, and oh my gosh, that was way too intense, the color that it applied. So the next day I used it, I pulled out my very trusty e.l.f. small stipple brush, but any dual fiber brush would work. That's just kind of what I had handy. And I think it did a much more natural looking flush of color on the cheeks. So I went a little crazy with the lipsticks. I'm just saying, just went a little crazy. I bought 6 of the Lippie sticks and 2 of the Ultra Matte lip colors. And I don't know why I bought so many, but I did. And I think part of it is lipstick in particular can be really tricky to buy online because I can swatch something and know right away whether it's going to look good on my lips or not, but online it's really hard to tell. And I did a lot of investigating and looking at swatches that other people had posted and try to use that as my guideline, and some are hits here and some are definitely misses. So their lipsticks come in 5 different finishes: a glossy finish, a satin finish, matte finish, hyper glossy, and pearlized finish. And I actually picked up one in all the finishes except for pearlized. I don't know why. And I would say most of the ones I picked up were a matte finish. Half of them are matte finishes. So I'm going to start off with the shade I'm wearing, which is called Lumière. And this is just a really great My Lips but better shade. Just that mauvey brown goes with everything. This is the kind that you want to leave at your desk at work or in your purse. It's going to work with just about any eye look, any outfit. I love a lipstick like that. So the next color I picked up was I Heart This. And then I picked up LBB, which is a dark berry shade. The next shade I'm going to share with you is called Fetch, and this is a satin finish. And it's a little bright for me. I'm not going to lie. I think that's just a little bright. I'll probably tuck this away for summer. I think this might be a really great summer color. Not really right for this time of year. Then the next color is a glossy finish, and it's in the shade Bond. I'm going to put it up top because it's kind of a neutral, but it's a much lighter neutral, almost a nude neutral. And then this last shade is Juicy, and unbelievably it's even brighter than this one up here. And this is in what they're calling the Hyper Gloss. These two are probably, well, we'll see how summertime goes. So the next two things I picked up were Ultra Matte lip creams, lipsticks, Ultra Matte lips. And, you know, these were really hyped quite extensively on YouTube and the web and Instagram, and they sold out like in an instant. So I think it's important to note the application tips and tricks that come on the product card that you get with this. And the first thing they're telling you is make sure your lips are bare and dry, and then to use a lip pencil, a coordinating lip pencil, and to apply the actual product with a lip brush. And I will tell you, I think you really need to do that because I found the application a little messy without it. So let me go ahead and swatch these. This color is Avenue, and the second color is called Tulle. They are very similar. So this is the Ultra Matte Lip Cream in the color Tulle. It really, I think it even applies darker than what it looks like in the tube. So that's something to note. I think they really, both of them really dried very dark, and I find them really tricky to apply. The other thing is, I think if you do decide you want to purchase these, I would definitely get the coordinating lip pencil so that you have a color that matches really well and coordinates with this product. Because I think you definitely need to line your lips to get that really pretty sharp line, because you really can't get it with the applicator. And I took this partially out and then decided I want to put it back in, and all this product just, like a volcano came out of it. It went everywhere, all over my hands, and unfortunately I didn't get it on my top, but just use these with care and caution is what I would say. And this is the shade LBD. Okay, so here's my thoughts on these products. I think that the eyeshadows are thebomb.com. I mean, they are awesome. Really a great, unique formula. I have not tried anything like this ever before, and kind of like a gel cream powder hybrid. It really is fantastic. The color payout is great. They're easy to apply. They blend beautifully. Really like them. You know, as far as the blush goes, it was nice, but it wasn't anything better than any other blush that I use, quite frankly. And because it is so pigmented, it is just a tiny bit tricky to apply. So start light and build it up. Probably good for someone who wants maybe the look of a cream shadow, but doesn't like the texture or the feel of a cream shadow, and wants the ease of applying it like a powder, but because it's this gel formula, it applies a little bit different than just a straight up powder formula. I hope that makes sense. Okay, now in terms of the lips, so I liked all of these. I liked every finish on these. Some of the colors were maybe not entirely my cup of tea down here, but you know, it's hard to know when you purchase color online to really be able to see how color looks on you. I'm a better judge. I would never have bought these if I had swatched them in person. All of these up here I really like. These two, I'm going to put those aside for the summer and see what I think about them then. And they apply really easily right out of the tube. I don't find you really need to use a lip liner unless you are a real lip liner gal. I'm not a real huge lip liner gal, so I didn't order any of the lip liners. But what's nice about these is they all come with a coordinating lip liner. So if that's your thing, that's great, because there's no messing around there. Okay, let's move on to these ultra matte lips. Once the color dries, they look much darker than they do in the tube here. So I didn't like that because, you know, you're going, that's a nice color. This is what it dries to, this far one. So I found them messy, hard to apply, not my cup of tea. However, if you want something that is kiss-proof, bulletproof for some kind of a special event, this might be something to consider. You know, wrapping up, and I was just noticing, checking out these swatches, look at this one. It's like cracking and peeling in just that time it took me to record this video. Oh my gosh, it's just like flaking off. Okay, so that wraps up my it's kind of like a haul, first impressions video on the ColourPop order that I placed. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you'd hit that subscribe button and join me for future videos. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.